Hi everyone, it's CJ, and this is a canvas that I painted of faces. This is for the challenge, or the 31 faces that Paula has going over on Facebook. These represent, I don't know, part of my past, memories, thoughts, people I wonder about. And two of them actually I painted of myself. Once in my 20s and once when I was probably right around 10. I'm going to go around the canvas, see if you can spot which two you think are me. Let's start up here. Go this way. I'll give you a little overview of each of these faces. I put this on canvas because I wanted to hang on to these memories. That was one reason why I didn't just go ahead and show each one as I completed it, because I didn't want it to overlap with the other one. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about these faces. No particular order. If I talk about a student, this means that this is many years ago. I retired from teaching back in 2004, so I don't think it would be hurtful to say anything or mention a name. Alright, let's start with this little one right here. Most of these little ones like this, they're roughly 10 to 12 years old. And this is my sister. I love her dearly. I get to chat with her periodically, but I haven't seen her probably in maybe 20 years. She's a real sweet little kid. This is Gabriella, sweet little Gabby. She would come into my classroom, lay her head down on the table, fall asleep. I often wondered what on earth is with this child. But I never fussed at her. And one day I heard some girls talking about how her mother had died, her dad was trying to keep the household. There was 11 kids in the family, she was the oldest. She's probably about 14 right here. And then this is her baby, Emanuela. She had a hard life. I often wonder about her. Okay, going up. There I am. I'm about 10 or 12 years old. I am a rascal. Mom always said, I hope your kids are just like you when they grow up. Well, she was right. I was never a bad kid. Very bright, everybody told me. And that was my problem. They just couldn't keep me entertained. This is Cocky, known for the rooster on his foot. My stepdad in the Navy. This is Juan, and this is his brother, Emmanuel. Emmanuel is a very quiet young man, but he's so heavily into drugs that I don't think he could see the light at the end of the table, or the tunnel table. This is Juan because he's just lost his brother. This is Vivian. She is one of the school bullies as I was growing up. She would push you into a locker, try to slam the door on your fingers. Today we call them bullies. Back then it was said that they were just teasing. One day I had enough in the lunchroom and I pitched a bowl of chili right in her face. That's when she grabbed my hot dog. I said, sure, you can have my hot dog. You have my chili too. They grabbed us up, put us into a cloakroom, and we sat in there for hours playing the piano. Okay. Julie. Julie was a girl that had her own little business. It paid by the hour. As much as we tried to talk to her and bring her around, her comment was always, I can make more money doing this than out there serving hamburgers, so leave me alone. This was a teacher that I learned a lot from. I learned a lot of what not to do. Do not get in the kids' faces and belittle them. Do not sit there and talk degradingly to them. And I will remember this man forever because I learned what not to do in the classroom. This is Myra. I went to college with her. She was terrified all the time. Very bright student. Years later I found out that her father had found her. And it was sad. He set her on fire. I prayed dearly that they would catch him and make him pay for that crime, because she was such a beautiful, wonderful person. Here I am. I'm in my 20s. I have finally sowed my wild oats. I've calmed down. I've decided that I want to be helpful and be a better person. And this, well, that's the face of chemo. And you all know what that is. This young man, his name is Carlos. He was a good-looking young man. My first day of teaching at this one school, everybody said, oh, stay away from Carlos. Carlos is bad. Bad news, Carlos. Well, I treated all my kids with respect. And he'd come in, he'd do work. He was respectful. And one day I'm standing out in the hallway and getting ready to leave. He says, Miss P, we need to talk. I said, okay. So we go in, classroom, sit down. My neighboring teacher comes in and says, do I need to get security? I said, no, don't worry about it. And then shortly thereafter, Carlos sat down. A couple of his buddies came in and sat down. He said, I have something for you. I hear your television got messed up. I have a new one for you. Well, that's kind of interesting, you know. I'm thinking, well, how on earth did he know that my TV got messed up? And I said, well, Carlos, it's okay. I said, I've got it in the shop. They've got it fixed, you know, good as new, and don't worry about it. But, you know, your thought of me was something I'll remember. I said, okay. Well, there stood the security guard at the door. And I just kind of nodded. I said, everything's cool. We're all right. And I often wonder about Carlos. Up above, that's my aunt and uncle. Uncle Buck, Aunt Kate. Uncle Buck, or Bucky, had a bar. Get into some fights. Aunt Kate, she was always a hoot. Always had some kind of little joke. She always looked to me like she was getting ready to say, Prudes, or Petunia. She always made me laugh. This is Helen. I worked with Helen at the post office when I was very, very young. Helen was always teased and made fun of because she worked harder than any man I knew. And I loved her dearly. She was a sweet, kind-hearted person. But boy, she could lift those 70-pound bags easier than any man out there. This, my mama, my daddy, my mom and my grandmother, both artists. My daddy, Sorrel, loved to sing. Look at this hair. And look at this hair. And look at this hair. Wonder where I got that from. Alright, down here. My daughter Care, light of my life. I love her dearly. Remember I said these little ones like this, they're about 10 or 12 years old. Because now she's in her 40s, as is her brother. My faith. Always present. This is Josisa and Tommy. Josisa was a sweet, sweet girl, always out to try and make the cheerleading squad, but couldn't quite do it. But she had a heart of gold. Tommy was a bad boy. Tommy stole cars. Tommy broke into homes. Tommy was one that everybody said, stay away from Tommy because he is bad news. And of course, she wanted to change him. One day my car broke down and this kid on a motorcycle pulls up behind me, says, can I help you? And I said, well, sure, I'm having trouble getting this tire changed. He jumped right in there, changed that tire, and he stood up. He says, you don't know who I am. I said, yes, I do, Tommy. I know you. He said, look down. He says, Miss P, I'm not a bad kid. Not really. And I said, Tommy, thank you for helping me, and I'll remember that. Okay, over here. That's Billy. Billy's such a sweetheart. Billy has Tourette's syndrome. And that means he's got shaking and eye rolling and jerking, and he has words that jump out of his mouth and they don't always mean what they say. Good, sweet kid. He's got this rat that he has all the time. But you know what? That rat helped keep him calm. Good kid. Poston, high school art teacher. Loved him dearly. He'd say, well, ain't that slicker than snot on a doorknob? I'll tell you what, those boys in that class would just chuckle and carry on, and girls go, ooh. But he was a great artist. And there's my son. That's Jade. Yep, he grew up just like me. Real character. And that's my better half. Met him on the dance floor. With him for over 40 years. Love him dearly. This is Miku. Miku's a gang leader. She's about 4'10", 90 pounds. And she is bad, bad, bad news. Never had a problem with her. Showed her respect. And she was always good to me. This is someone I lost in high school. He had gone to Vietnam and just never came home. This is Rosie. Rosie reminded me of a little puppy dog. She'd flip her head to one side and then to the other side when she didn't understand something. But she was smart as a whip, I'm here to tell you. That girl had a head for math. And that's Violet. She was no shrinking Violet, though. She'd come in the classroom, sit down, and she did not want to be messed with. I would very quietly say, you know, if you've got something you want to talk about, I'm always, always here for you. And one day, about a month into the semester, she came to me and said, "Can we talk?" I said, "Of course." And she started telling me about how she thought she might be pregnant. I felt really bad for her at the time. The situation was horrendous. But it all worked out. Okay, let's see, did I miss anybody? Well, I think I got everybody. Let's take a look here. Memories. My past. I hope you enjoyed this, because I sure had a lot of fun with it. You have a great day now. Thanks for watching.